Well, we're wrapping up day 3 of MSI group stage. I'm joined right now by Caps from G2 after a triumphant win over SKT and a less than triumphant loss. So you take the wins and the losses here. I guess with the loss against Fung Fu Buffalo. Either way, take me through this day. How did you? It must have been like a bit of an emotional roller coaster for you.
For sure. I mean, we came into this MSI with like super high hopes, right? And not to take anything away from Buffalo because they played really well. We had expected to win against them, especially when we're competing against teams like SKT, right? So it was really sad at first, but then to take this win kind of like saved the day for me.
Oh, and by the way, shout out to Alienware for sponsoring the interview. Forgot to mention that. But I also want to ask you what your take has been on MSI overall. Because right now it kind of feels like IG versus the world. I mean, you guys have secured that solid second place, but is that what is the situation? Is it just IG versus the world?
I think so. I mean, IG looked really, really dominant at Worlds. They came into this MSI looking really dominant in LPL, and now they look really dominant at MSI, right? We are trying out different things to beat them. So far it hasn't worked, but hopefully if we get enough tries, at some point something will work, and then we hopefully can just keep doing that.
Well, I have to take advantage of these little moments because I only get a chance to interview you and your EU counterparts or colleagues every so often. So last time I interviewed you, we were at Worlds. Then the off season hit, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of stuff happening over here. And then I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So have you like recovered? Is everything stabilized? Is the world normal again for you?
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of people were mad, like and worried about the future because G2 and Fnatic were obviously the two teams that were competing at Worlds and were showing good results for EU. So a lot of teams want us to do better or as good next year. So when I suddenly joined G2 and Perks goes 80, maybe it makes both teams like bad, right? Or something like this. So I think a lot of people worried about that. I hope that people are getting like a bit more convinced, and that's why we really want to beat IG, because if we beat IG, then at least we showed that's better, you know. We combined the G2 Fnatic and then we actually took them down. So that's the goal right now.
Speaking of Perks, what's it working with him in the ADC slot? I did an interview with him yesterday, I think, where he was talking about like mid laners are so much better players, and also mid lane champions are all overpowered. Do you guys talk to each other about this stuff?
I mean, so we always talked also before we joined. We were talking like at Worlds and MSI, or I guess not MSI, but like Worlds and Rift Routes and stuff like this when we went together. So I knew him like a bit, like a lot more than I know, for example, a lot of other EU LCS pro players. So we have a lot of like, we're both mid laners, so we can both like complain about the same thing. Oh, jungle didn't do that, jungle didn't do that. So joining team with him was really nice. I think he's really good. Talking about like mid laners being OP is definitely something he says. Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't mind some more buffs on mid, maybe, you know.
See, this is what's so funny is like I was like, would you be saying this stuff if you were in mid lane? He's like, no, definitely not. But they need to nerf this stuff. It's ridiculous. And so I don't know if you guys argue about that, because before you used to agree on everything. Do you argue now about that stuff?
I mean, there's definitely things where we disagree, right? That's normal. Whether it be, I remember one particular case where it was like, I think I was going bot lane or something, and then I pushed out his wave when instead he wanted the wave, you know. So there's stuff like this where we like fight over like who gets the wave, which is kind of funny. But other than that, I think we are very similar minded, and I think that's why we had so much success like right from the start. Yeah.
How do you feel you're holding up at MSI? You're facing off against like Rookie and Faker and all these legends. How do you feel about your own performance?
So I went into MSI last year, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna try my hardest, right? And then suddenly I realized that I got really burned out. So something that is really important for me this year is that not burning out at the wrong times. That's why we had like a sloppy week 9, because we want to focus on playoffs, and that's the same kind of thing I want this MSI. Like I don't want to peak in groups, I want to peak in playoffs. So while I don't think my performance right now is like that insane, I think I want to be insane in playoffs, and hopefully then I can maybe take down Rookie, you know.
Well, we'll see how things go as the tournament goes on. Looking forward to seeing you guys face off. A quick question for you. I feel like I ask this question all the time at these international events. I wish I didn't have to keep asking this, but what's going on with Team Liquid? Do you have any idea on what's holding back North America?
So it's hard. I mean, I think honestly the same kind of thing maybe that's holding back SKT. I think NA played, and especially TL plays like a very slow game. They are just like we were maybe last year, a team that's like very focused on the bot lane, and right now it's like top-centric meta. It's all about a lot of fighting. It's all about basically just a lot of fighting, and that's not really TL's style, I think. So I think that in a way they've been unlucky with the meta. I think they can still like bounce back, and I mean there's still a way I think they can make it out groups, right? So obviously cheering a little bit for them. Like I still have like some NA against NA, you know, but yeah.
We'd like to see them make it into the top 4. Sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it before in the intro as well. Like, I would love to play against NA in best of 5 because it's always like hype, you know. It's always like the rivalry. Yeah. But then again, I think that they probably have to beat us in like the next best of 1 to make it. So I'm in that way, I'm not cheering for them, you know.
Well, we'll see what happens. And I do just want to ask you, given that you guys have now secured 2nd place, at least for day 3, do you expect it to be IG G2 in the finals? Is that probably the good guess?
Well, I hope so. I think IG is probably going to be in the final. I hope that we go up against them. I still don't want to take anything away from SKT because they are the team they are, right? And even though we beat them in best of 1, they're probably like a very different beast in best of 5. So I don't want to take anything too lightly. I mean, we're not even secured out of groups yet, so I will just take it one game at a time, and then I will hope that we'll win against IG in the final.
Okay. Anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
So I want to thank you guys. I mean, a lot of you guys were worried when I joined G2, but hopefully that we're like slowly convincing you guys that maybe it was like a good idea. We're gonna try our hardest to actually beat IG this time. Both of us failed at Worlds, and we really want that revenge. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Hey, thank you so much to you for watching that video. Hope you enjoyed it. And thanks so much to Alienware for sponsoring my coverage here at MSI and my exploration of the Bay here for the secret to North America's success. They've got some great stuff over at Dell.com/Travis. You know, I'm not sure if we're going to find the treasure we're looking for here, but you can find the treasure you're looking for right there on their website. They've got great computers, notebooks, peripherals, monitors, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I gotta hoist the main sail right now because we're setting up for let's just say there's some pirates here and gotta do some battle. Let's put it that way.